The day my mom chose my brother over me, when I was 12 years old, I learned something that would take me years to understand. Sometimes, the people who love you the most can also be the ones who hurt you the deepest. For most of my childhood, I believed my mom loved my little brother more than me. And honestly, I hated her for it. But if you asked my mom today, she'd probably tell you she loved us equally. Maybe she really believes that. Maybe that's what makes this story so painful. Because love isn't always measured by what someone feels. Sometimes, it's measured by the choices they make. My name is Ethan, and I grew up in a quiet neighborhood in Ohio. Nothing about our family looked unusual from the outside. We weren't rich, we weren't poor, just another family trying to get through life. There was my mom, my younger brother Noah, and me. My dad left when I was 4 years old. I barely remember his face. Every memory I have of him feels like an old photograph that's slowly fading away. My mom worked double shifts at a hospital. She left before sunrise and often came home after dark. She was always exhausted. Still, she never stopped trying. Every birthday, she somehow managed to bake us a cake. Every Christmas, there were presents under the tree, even if she had to skip buying something for herself. When I was little, I thought she was a superhero. Things started changing after Noah got sick. He was only 6 years old when doctors discovered he had a serious heart condition. Suddenly, our entire world revolved around hospitals. Doctor appointments, medicines, emergency phone calls. I remember sitting alone in school while other kids' parents came to watch sports day. My mom never came. She was sitting beside Noah's hospital bed. At first, I understood. He needed her more than I did, or at least, that's what I kept telling myself. One afternoon, I won first place in the school science fair. I'd spent nearly 3 weeks building a volcano model. I couldn't wait to show Mom. I imagined her smiling, taking pictures, maybe hanging my certificate on the refrigerator. When I got home, the house was empty. There was only a sticky note on the kitchen counter. Had to take Noah to the hospital again. Dinner is in the microwave. Love you. I stared at that note for a long time. Then I folded my certificate and shoved it inside my backpack. She never asked about it, not once. As the years passed, small moments like that became normal. Every soccer game, she missed. Every parent meeting, she canceled. Every birthday, someone always had to leave early because Noah wasn't feeling well. People kept telling me, "Be strong, your brother needs your mom." And I nodded, because that's what a good brother was supposed to do. But inside, I was getting tired. Tired of always understanding. Tired of always waiting. Tired of always coming secco. When I turned 15, Noah was finally getting healthier. The surgeries had worked. The doctor smiled more often. I thought things would finally go back to normal. I was wrong, because even after the hospital visits stopped, my mom still treated him differently. If Noah forgot to do his homework, she'd laugh and help him finish it. If I forgot, I got grounded. If Noah broke something, it was an accident. If I did, I was irresponsible. It felt like we lived under two different sets of rules. One evening, I finally asked her, "Mom, why is everything always about Noah?" She looked at me for a second, then quietly said, "Because one day, he almost died. That was it. No explanation, no hug, no conversation, just one sentence." As if that answered everything. Maybe to her, it did. But to me, it only made me feel invisible. High school became my escape. I stayed late after classes, joined basketball, worked weekends at a grocery store, anything to avoid going home. People thought I was becoming independent. The truth was, home no longer felt like home. One night, my basketball coach drove me home after practice. Before I got out of his car, he looked at me and asked, "Everything okay at home?" I forced a smile. "Yeah," he nodded. But before I closed the door, he quietly said, "You don't have to carry everything by yourself." Those words stayed with me because nobody had ever asked me that before. Nobody noticed I was hurting. A few weeks later, something happened that changed everything. It was Saturday morning. Mom had to work an extra shift. Before leaving, she looked at me and said, "Keep an eye on Noah. I'll be home around 6. I rolled my eyes. I'm not his babysitter. She didn't even answer. She simply grabbed her keys, kissed Noah on the forehead, and walked out the door. For some reason, that tiny kiss bothered me more than it should have. Maybe because I couldn't remember the last time she'd kissed me goodbye. The day started normally. We watched TV, played video games, ordered pizza. For a few hours, it actually felt like we were just brothers. No hospitals, no arguments, no favoritism. Just us. Then, around 4 o'clock, the doorbell rang. Neither of us was expecting anyone. Noah walked toward the front door before I could stop him. He opened it, and the moment I saw who was standing outside, my stomach dropped. Because the man at our front door was someone I hadn't seen in over 11 years. My father, and he said 5 words that would destroy our family forever. I think it's time we talked. The day my mom chose my brother, Over me, I couldn't move. For 11 years, I had imagined what it would feel like to see my father again. I pictured myself yelling at him, asking why he left, asking why we were never enough. But when he actually stood there, I couldn't say a single word. He looked older than I remembered. Gray hair, wrinkles around his eyes. He held a small paper bag in one hand. Noah looked confused. "Who's that?" The man smiled softly.
I'm your dad.
Noah laughed. "No, my dad died." The smile disappeared from his face. He looked at me instead. "I know your mom told him that." I felt my heart pounding. "What do you want?" He took a deep breath. "I just want 5 minutes." I started closing the door. Before it shut, he quietly said something that made me stop. "I know why your mother pushed me away." Silence. "I know why she hates me." I slowly opened the door again. He never tried to come inside. Instead, we sat on the front porch. Noah stayed inside watching through the window. For almost an hour, my father told me everything. He admitted he made mistakes. He admitted leaving was the biggest regret of his life. But then, he showed me court papers, letters, bank statements, birthday cards that had all been returned unopened, pictures of me that he had secretly collected over the years. I tried to come back. I tried every year. Your mother wouldn't let me. I wanted to believe he was lying. It would have been easier. But every paper, every date, every signature matched perfectly. For the first time in my life, I realized there were two sides to every story. That evening, Mom came home. The second she saw my father standing outside, her face turned white. She didn't even look surprised, just terrified. She walked straight toward me. "What did he tell you?" I didn't answer. Instead, I held up one of the letters. "You said he never cared." Her eyes filled with tears. She looked at the envelope, then looked away. "He doesn't deserve you," I asked quietly. "Then why did you hide all of this?" She didn't answer. For almost a full minute, nobody spoke. Then she whispered, "I was afraid." That single word echoed in my head. She wasn't afraid I'd get hurt. She was afraid I'd choose him. All these years I thought Noah was the reason. But the truth was much bigger. She had spent years trying to protect the family she built, even if it meant destroying the relationship I could have had with my father. Maybe she thought she was doing the right thing. Maybe she believed she was protecting me. But intentions don't erase consequence over the next few months. Everything changed. I started meeting my father at first, once a month, then every weekend. We weren't trying to replace lost years. We couldn't. Instead, we started creating new memories, fishing, watching baseball, eating terrible roadside burgers, simple things most kids take for granted. Every time I came home, Mom became quieter. She never complained. She never tried stopping me again. It was like she finally realized holding tighter only pushed me further away. One night, I found her sitting alone in the kitchen. She looked older than I had ever noticed. There were bills spread across the table, hospital paperwork, old family photos. She wasn't crying. She just looked tired, really tired. I sat across from her. Neither of us spoke for a while. Finally, she said, "You hate me now." I looked down at the table. "I don't hate you. I just don't understand you." She nodded slowly. "I don't understand myself sometimes." That was the first honest thing she'd ever said to me. A few weeks later, I visited my grandmother. While we were talking, she mentioned something I'd never heard before. "When your father left, your mom stopped eating. She worked 3 jobs. She slept 2 or 3 hours a night. Some days she skipped meals so you boys could eat." I stared at her. Why didn't anyone tell me? She smiled sadly.
Because your mother never wanted you to know.
For the first time, I saw my mom differently. Not as a hero, not as a villain, just a broken person, trying to hold together a broken family. She made terrible choices. She hurt people, especially me. But pain has a strange way of changing people. Sometimes, it turns love into control, fear into anger, protection into prison. Last year, on my 24th birthday, Mom handed me a small box. Inside was every science project, every report card, every basketball medal, every drawing I'd ever made as a kid, even the science fair certificate I thought she'd never seen. "I found it in your backpack that night," she said quietly. "I wanted to hang it on the fridge." "So why didn't you?" She looked at the floor. "Because Noah went back to the hospital, and I forgot." She covered her face. I'm sorry. Those 2 words were the apology I'd waited almost half my life to hear. They didn't erase the pain. They didn't fix the years we'd lost. But sometimes healing doesn't begin with forgetting. It begins with finally being seen. Today, my relationship with my mom still isn't perfect. Some scars never disappear. My father is part of my life again. My brother and I are closer than ever. And my mom? She's still learning how to let go of the guilt she's carried for years. People always ask me, "Did you ever forgive her?" The truth is, forgiveness isn't something that happens once. It's a choice you keep making over and over again. Because the hardest part about loving someone is accepting that they can love you and still hurt you. And sometimes, the people who break your heart are also the ones who spend the rest of their lives trying to put the pieces back together.